And welcome back to the Piercing Fortress Europa, AAR. I'm on turn 4 of 16. Let's assess the situation that we were left in, and we'll see how to complete these objectives. So we had a lot of German troops file down to the southern end, Italian troops as well. The US paras are surrounded by Italians. The US in the port of Catania are surrounded by German motorized infantry. We've got the brave Canadians down in Syracuse, surrounded by Italian troops, and then we've got the Brits in Gala, again surrounded by Italians. Apparently this blue unit is part of the Hermann Goering, so that's why it's different to the normal grey. And you can see we've got fortifications in Messina and right at the bottom. So what are we going to do? Let's take a look at the victory point status. You can see we've controlled Syracuse, which is one of the victory conditions. There's been 16 German casualties and we've lost 2, so not too bad. Supply is still pretty dire. We need to break out, get the roads open, and then we can hopefully get free flow of supply down in this southern area. Let's check. Total strength, cap. So we've got quite a bit of fuel and supply coming in. We probably won't be using sea transport or airborne drops anymore, so we'll just get on with it. These paras are out of supply. Well, actually, the red triangle in the bottom means that they're very low supply. You can see combat supply 1. So I'm tempted to leave them at that junction and just push combat supply into them. We got here the US infantry. So they're all supplied up, ready for a fight. So I think I'm going to engage this motorized infantry unit. I know it would be bad news sending infantry in to take out a motorized infantry unit, but what I'll do is I'll send this armor in with it. Hopefully that'll prove short work. What we don't want to do is leave the port of Catania open for taking, so I won't be using all the men, but I do want this to happen, so I'm going to use the US first to hit them hard. As I said, I wanted to punch hard and shift things onto my to my. So that's that. Right, what about the Canadians? The Canadians are supplied up. I think we should punch to into these weak Italian units. Well, I'm not sure they're weak. I'm assuming by their stack size that they're just small units. So I think I'm going to open the road up, hit this with the armor, and leave the infantry protecting the port. What else should we do? Let's have a look. Okay, these paras are again in a low supply situation. They've also taken a loss, so I think we should get some supplies to them. The British 5th. Yeah. So basically any units who are in good combat supply, i.e. they've got the green triangle, I'm going to use them in an attack on this Italian unit. And where's the other one? There we go. The rest of them are in medium combat supply, so I will drop in supplies for them. Come on. I still can't get used to this left click to select, right click to pick the unit out of the stack. It seems a bit odd to my fingers. Right, that's all them supplied up, and that's about it, I think. Let's just do a quick check of air. Superiority 10, ground support 4. We'll leave it at that. The workers. Oh no, sorry, that's the reinforcements. There it is, workers. You can see on each port you have a list of ports. The level that they're functioning at. This is 99%. Catania, Gale is functioning at 98%. But Syracuse is only at 33%. And it basically gives you a breakdown of how efficient the ports work in and how much workers are needed to keep the port running. And so there's 6 workers in Catania and they only need 3 to keep it running. And there's 1 worker available. So I'm going to Syracuse needs 4 workers. I'm going to put that worker that's available into Syracuse, and hopefully up the supply capacity of this port. I mean, it's all a bit. I'm not entirely sure what I'm doing there, but I'll just give it a go. Right. So let's end turn 4. So our first attack was the British, attacking the Italian 136th. We give them a good going over. The next attack is the Canadians. Canadian 1st. It was a successful attack. They lost 1 unit. And now the Americans went in hard. Let's see, they hit the German 15th. And we took quite a few losses there. Ground support used. Wow, we did take loss. Maybe there's a stacking penalty for putting too much in an attack. I'm not sure. Still, we massacred them. And they've retreated. Okay, the 213th has been eliminated. The Italian 136th have been eliminated. And we're back to our orders. Port workers unavailable. Amphibious invasions disallowed. Okay. I'm not sure whether that's a result of what I did with the worker, but let's crack on. Okay, so the paratrooper there is still low on supply. Let's move these back. And I want a strong defense here, but I want to start crawling up this road a bit to push these guys back. So I'm going to move up, and I'm going to put my armor on the road also. I might even go in support of the paratroopers, to be honest. Now these guys are going to start and need supplies when they're away from the port. So I'll need to keep that as a priority. Let's look at the Canadians. How are you doing, fellas? Right. I think what I'll do is I'll pull my armor back, and these feisty Canadian first, I'm going to push them onto, what terrain is that? Hills. I'm going to make them go up the hills and chase the Italians away. So we're going to have an attack there. Right. Now the Brits. What are we going to do? What have we got here? 231st and the 51st. Combat supply. I might just leave them there to protect this incoming road to the port. I might start to fan out a bit with the British. I think I'm going to push the 50th out. And not them. Maybe the armoured. Maybe push the armoured out. Yeah, okay. These paratroops. I'm going to supply them, I think. I'm not really making any attacks in this area, but I'm hoping I'm going to build like a wall of British, and then I'm just going to slowly move forward, as is the British way. Right, let's see. Supply. It's getting better. We're opening up the roads. Once all these are joined up, I'll be a happy man. Right. Let's look a quick look at the air. Now, do I need to do anything about that? I could put a touch more in ground support, but I lose it from air superiority, and I'm not really sure the effect that has, because it means then presumably the German Luftwaffe start to interdict on my operations. I'm not dropping anything in. I don't know. I'm not really sure. Let's run with that. And here we go. Okay, the Canadians climbed the hills, the Canadian first, and they basically took out the Italian 208th. Lovely job. 3 losses, disrupted, game over. 208th has been eliminated, and now port workers unavailable. Not quite sure what that means. Don't worry about it. Let's get on with the fighting. Right. Paratroopers. I might do a double attack. I might bring the paras up into this fortified Italian spot and support them with the British 50th. because this is a these are hills, mountains. These are mountains. So I don't want to be taking my armoured up into the mountains really, but I want to stop things coming in. So we're in hill territory here. So maybe they'll be able to take this and then push up and drive these out of the hills. If they move down into this area here, I'll give them a good spanking by everyone concerned. How are we for supply? Oh, I might supply those, the 51st. Keep the armour ticking over. These guys, they're all supplied and ready to fight if needs be. Canadians have done a sterling job down in the south. I don't think there's a unit down here. They've left fortifications there, but I don't think there's a unit because it would show up. I've got too much sight on this area, I think. So I might just bring them back into Syracuse just to do the defensive thing. And we'll get some supply down. Right, Americans, let's rock. We got right. We've got one unit. We really need some armor when we're dealing with motorized divisions. So I'm going to push down this road towards Messina. Let's do this. I need the armor. They're in a lowish combat supply, but I'll drop in supplies next turn for them. These guys took 3 losses, so I'm gonna push replacements into their unit using the add replacement button on the right, and I'm gonna combat supply them because they're the sole defenders of the port of Catania at the minute. Now, what do I do with these paras? The 82nd. I really want to go into the hills with them, so I'm going to do that. They've got a stack value of 3, and the Italians that are stationed in the hills have got a stack value of 2. So there are more paras. Physically, there are more paras. So I'm hoping they're going to make that push. And I want to hold this crossroads over this river, so I'm going to move these guys up. Now, they're not very... The red down arrow in the top means that their unit quality is not quite... It's not quite there. But I'm hoping they'll hold these Italians off across this bridge. We'll see. If they both attack at the same time, maybe they won't hold. We'll have to see. Right. Supply. It's getting better. Let's take a turn. Okay, so the Brits going up into the hills. The attack was successful. The Italian 26th and the fortifications there, they took 4 losses. Excellent. The paras in the mountains, the 82nd took on the Italian 54th. They've disrupted them. No losses, but it was a successful attack. Oh baby! Well, there's my first failed attack. The 3rd and 2nd US took on the German 29th. We took some losses there, 2 losses, 2 disruptions. Although the Germans took a fair bit of punishment. Not quite sure why I did badly there, but anyway, we'll pull. Basically, the losers seem to pull back or flee the situation. That seems to be the way that things happen in combat resolution. The 26th's been eliminated, and it's my turn. Okay, so we haven't been able to dislodge these German motorized infantry units. I think, is this the Italian unit that was up in the mountains? They've retreated back. Presumably they're looking for support from their armoured neighbours. The Paras really are almost out of combat supply, so I'm obviously going to drop some supply in on babies. Now, do we attack with a loss and poor quality troops? Oh, well, I want to, but I'm going to hold. Let's just hold. These guys have got some disruption. You can see there, 1 point disruption. The combat supplied up. We have the armoured US 2nd. Now I think because we fled from the battle, you can see there's a lack of combat support, and all I can do is do a sort of a counter attack, I think. But without combat supply, I'm not going to do a counter attack. I'm going to hold defensively in this port. I'm not going to send these infantry out for another blast. I'm going to wait till everybody's ready and we'll heads again. Now, these British troops in the hills, the Paras and the 50th. I'm going to push them forward. We're going to take them on in the mountains. Leave these guys where they are for now. And them. What about the Canadians? We could bring them up to help support the US. We've got the roads into Syracuse covered. Not sure. Maybe bring the armour out. So the Canadian first. Canadian first infantry, Canadian first armour. Let's pull the armour out. Bring them up. They can protect these roads in. Okay. Supply check. Not too bad. The victory conditions have changed only in as much as we've done nearly 60 German casualties and we've lost 14. So we've had quite a few losses. Let's take turn. Okay. Here we go. The British 1st and 50th are attacking the Italian 28th. We've taken a loss, but we did exact quite a heavy toll on these guys in the mountains. There goes the Canadian armour. Now these guys are a really low combat supply. Both of them disrupted. And the 50th need replacements. So I've replaced them. I'm going to drop combat supply down. And now the Paras. I can't get combat supply to them. So effectively they're useless in attack, or next to useless. So I don't really want to use them. So I'll just hold them there. Now, here we go. Well, I could push heavy onto the hills and see if I could dislodge these guys, but there's a lot of them. I'm just gonna have to leave them, I think. Just maybe I can push some units around them, cut them off a bit. See, the move when you're near a zone. I guess it's when you're in the zone of control of this enemy unit. Then there's no just moving around them. They'll notice your movements and attack. So the only option you have is an attack or a withdraw. Now, do I push everything in? I mean, these guys are itching for a fight. I think that little red downward triangle, I thought that meant something like their supplies are dwindling, but I could be wrong. I'd need to look that one up. I could push both of those in and that one. Let's do it. No, let's not. I'm overreaching, I think. Yeah, let's move this guy up. Put him in the mountains. Okay. Okay, so now what is it I'm going to do with these? These paras, I think we're going to make the attack. I think we're going to just join in and push these guys past. I mean, I'd like to get someone in Enna to. It would. Well, I was going to say it would annoy troops coming down from the south if there are any left. But it would hold this central road. And I like the idea of that. We're gonna have a bit of a battle getting to Messina, I think. But if I can sweep this lot over, maybe I can get supplies going and push maybe the Canadians and the US down this way. Yeah, I think that's what I'll do. Okay, let's run the turn. Right, so the US 45th and 82nd went in hard with the Italian 4th. Nice. One disruption on our part. But the battle was won. The 4th's been eliminated. Right, so now we've got this motorized infantry unit coming up. I believe we need to get some combat supply to these guys. Not the paras. Can't do that for the paras. Let's move Canadian armour up. Okay, so they're disrupted. The British 50th are disrupted in the mountains. The paras are almost out of supply. We'll supply them. Do we do the business? Yeah, let's do it. How many have we got here? We've got infantry, Lots of infantry and some armour. Now normally I wouldn't take armour anywhere near mountains. Sod it. Let's attack with the stack. So obviously the armour won't be able to go up the mountain, so that's not taking part. And I'm not sure why. Oh, I think there must be a stack limit to how many units you can get into a hex in an attack, because these guys should have been in the attack. Okay. Right. What about the Canadians? What are we doing down here? Let's leave them there. What about the US? Come on, we're going to have to do something. Okay, they've lost a place. They're really out of supply. Yeah, we need to do something about this guy. We need to do something about it. Alright, come on. Canadians will help. I don't want to attack when they're at low combat supply, because it really doesn't help. And there's no point me flinging infantry at motorized infantry. Not on its own. I suppose we can increase air priority, which I presume it sort of you can tailor where you actually put your ground support. I think they all have this increase decrease air priority. So if you need ground support, I think you can pump that up a bit and sort of direct where it goes. Okay. I'm a bit unsure as to what to do, because I don't want to lose all my US troops, but we're going to have to attack at some point. What does that do? Air priority? Well, it goes up to 3. Let's go in. Have I got out else to push in? Let's do it. See, I could use the armour, but they're not really going to be any effective at all with a combat supply of 1. Well, in fact, they won't even. Yeah, I'm sure there's a stacking thing going on. Anyway, okay. Okay, you can spend quite a bit just fiddling around and not getting anywhere. Quick supply check. We're on turn 9. We haven't really pushed them back far enough, so I think I'm now behind the curve of getting up to Palermo and pushing through to Messina. We'll see. We'll see what happens in this fight. Okay. Right, the Brits had a rough time of it. The 5th and the 231st. The German Hermann Goering. 5 losses, 2 disruption. It's not good. Ah, that's better news. The US 1st and 3rd have given the German 29th and Italian 54th a bit of a run for their money. 7 losses, 3 disruption. Admittedly, they got a bloody nose in the process, but hopefully we kicked them back. Nice. Nice. Now we need to get some supplies on these babies. And replacements. Supply and replacements. I think there's a resource thing kicking in here. About how much combat supply, fuel priority. I'm never very good with resource management and balancing the books. I just want to get in there and attack. So what does that do? That jiggles fuel and combat supply. So if I boost combat supply 70-30, what will that do for me? Because we've got a lot of fuel and a really poor level of supply. Let's try that. Because I can't supply these babies, which is upsetting. I don't just want an idle armour sat in the port, not being able to push through. These guys are in poor combat supply. They need some replacements. The US 45th. Especially if we have to take this bad boy on. Okay, this Canadian armour, let's move them around. Give them something to think about. So I think the supply situation's getting pretty dire and it's all my fault. Still, I'll be there, boys. I'll sort you out. We had a bad go of this, but now at least we know what we're up against with the Herman division. They've got 16 unit strength. We don't know what their maximum is. That 5 stacking mean there is a lot of units there. Yeah, let's get some supply in. So this unit in the mountains is more or less holding our units in place because we can't move past it without destroying it. We have to go through it, and it's in the mountains, so our armor can't get to it. It's a sneaky little trick. Yes, let's get some men up there then. Let's get the men on the mountains. We can take an attack. Not yet. Paras. I suppose the Paras could go in. They're rugged folk. This is going to end badly. I just have a feeling. Maybe I shouldn't have. Oh well. Let's place what we can. Okay. Now what's this? Yep, we've got no supply for them. These guys, I think we should move them up. And the armor, they're really out of supply. Okay, how's that coming along? Oh, nice. So our roads are starting to link up. The supply's getting through. It's looking nicer. This, I'd have liked that to have been joined up by now, but never mind. Right, let's do it. Oh dear. I knew it was going to be tough. The 1st and the 50th attacking the Hermann Goering division. It's a failed attack. 3 losses. 3 disruption. We are chipping away at them and disrupting them. But obviously we're losing men whilst doing it. Oh. This attack's failed. Oh, this attack is coming in. So that motorized infantry division, the German 15th, has attacked our Canadian 1st. The infantry. and give us a bit of a spanking. But we took 3 off them as well, so they'll have to retreat. We do know their combat strength now, which is 8. What are we doing? Turn 11. Oh my word, it's 40 minutes. Okay, I think what I'll do is I'll pause there. It's a large chunk, and we'll finish this game off in the next session. Thanks for listening.